Let's talk about Monkey Man. Monkey Man is directed and stars Dev Patel. And Dev Patel, of course, you've seen him from Newsroom. You saw him in Slumdog Millionaire. He was a kid. He's also in a film called Lion, which is based on a true story. Probably the best thing that he's been in, one of the best things he's been in, Lion. Monkey Man is an action film. It's based on a legend about the I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, so I'm not even going to try, but a legend of an avenging monkey that is kind of like India's version of Batman. Not, and that's fine. The film really, in terms of the action, aspires to be John Wick in terms of its like close combat and whatnot. And Dev's character. See, I don't even know if he has a name under the thing. It just says Kid.
It's called Kid. Yeah, he's called the Kid.
He's called the Kid. He discovers a corrupt police chief that is responsible for the death of his mother. And throughout the film, there are constant flashbacks to this the tragedy involving his mom and him as a child being just horrified and traumatized by this event, as anyone would be. And his goal is now to get the people that were responsible. So he poses as a waiter at this high-end place. He'll do any job. He's just trying to infiltrate to get close enough to the people because his mind is all on vengeance. And there are twists and turns in the stories. There's decent action in the beginning, really good action in like the beginning, and then the middle gets very slow where not a lot happens. And then there is a third act that is filled with action. I'll say this. The thing that kept it going for me was Dev Patel, but I was a little disappointed with the action. The film aspires to be John Wick. It's not. Any sort of, and I'll say this, and the film also isn't helped by the trailer. The trailer is so good. Like, one of my favorite trailers I've seen in the last for a long time in terms of an action movie I'd never heard of. The trailer is fantastic, and the movie does not live up to the trailer, specifically for a couple of reasons. One of the things that happens is whenever there's action, the screen is always shaking like this and look at this. And it's like a shake, and it's a shake, and it's shaking. It's like it's like you'll see it like they took it and like they just took the camera and went like this, and it's actually jarring. It doesn't make the action better. Just let us see the action. It's very cleverly directed. My understanding is that they ran out of money in the middle of making the movie. So Dev Patel actually just started shooting pieces of it on an iPhone. Yeah, you saw the movie with Southwest Alan.
Yeah, and he was there talking about that. But yeah, he did run out of money, and that's where Jordan Peele came in.
Jordan Peele came in and helped him. It's distributed by Universal. I'm not going to say it's terrible. And then there's this whole thing. There's a controversy that's erupted online about he was interviewed on the red carpet about trans representation or something. And I didn't notice it. There is a character in the movie that is a man that is like a cross-dresser, and he wears makeup and like a dress, and he has like done up nails. I didn't see it. I just saw it as like, that's a cross-dresser.
This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah. So the movie doesn't overtly do that, but I also have a sneaking suspicion that Dev Patel, because I've met him, he's super based. I think he's very based, but I also think he's smart. He's playing the Hollywood game. Okay. So while that part of the movie wasn't distracting, don't get distracted and sidelined by the fact that he made these comments on red carpets. Red carpets, first of all, I've done a very few red carpets in my career. It is literally the scrubbing toilets of television journalism is doing a red carpet. Every time I did it, and I did it for like one of the Harry Potter movies, So I've done like a bunch of different red carpets in my time while I was at G4. despise doing it every single time. It's all inconsequential, mindless questions, and it's only an opportunity for a celebrity to be asked something stupid and to respond with something stupid. Don't
you talked me out of doing it early on.
Yeah, I was just like,
even though we got one of our biggest gets on a red carpet.
Yeah, didn't you interviewed Steven Spielberg on the red carpet?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I got 3 good questions in for him.
And it's on the website. If you look up Steven Spielberg, it's on filmthreat.com. But like, just don't get distracted by these. Actors always say dumb things because journalists on red carpets are not very bright and they ask stupid questions. It's a character that is a cross-dresser, and do you
know which one it is? Because I can't even think of who it was.
You didn't even notice it. That's how subtle it is. It's a character where he's being healed in the temple. So he gets in a fight and he's injured pretty severely.
I remember that.
He heals. He goes through a healing process, and there is a character at the temple that basically wants to help him, and that character is a cross-dresser. I didn't care.
We're up in arms about that.
No, some people are, and like I don't know. I feel like Dev Patel was baited. The thing is this. Here's what I'll just say. This isn't the reason that the movie isn't great. The movie isn't great because the middle act is way too slow. This would have been a great movie at 90 minutes. It needed to be tightened. And here are the flaws. Running time too long. The flashbacks with him as a child, they're throughout the entire film. You really only needed it in the beginning and then maybe a callback at the end. You could have cut 90% of the flashbacks. We get it. His mother was killed. He's angry. He wants vengeance. I get it. You don't need to constantly show it. There's that. And the action is actually, they take away from the action by having the camera shake too much. Didn't like that. Really didn't like it. So a mild recommend. I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Because I like Dev Patel, but no going in, there are flaws. And those are the flaws.
Yeah.
Alan, you did an early review. Has your mind changed?
I mean, you pretty much mirrored what I said. To me, it was all about pacing. It was the fact that it was decent action loaded up front. And to me, I thought that third act was amazing.
The third act is amazing. Third act's great.
And then you have this. So basically you have a roller coaster with a long dip in the middle and then comes up at the end.
Perfect description.
Yeah, it's, if you can handle that, if you can not get bored midway through, you're going to have an okay time with this movie. And that's kind of how I felt. Again, I'll say it the same with One Love, the Bob Marley movie. The English accents are so heavy in this movie. I had a hard time understanding a good 50% of the dialogue.
I did also. I would have preferred subtitles.
Yeah.
The Indian, the accent is so thick. I can understand Dev Patel. I couldn't barely understand other people.
Yeah.
It feels authentic, which I appreciate.
Yeah, because it's they're obviously not going for clarity in their English. I think it's just the way that's how they speak English, but it's very monotone and mumbly in a way.
Right.
And so when I'm first of all the chief, the bad guy, the chief, I didn't realize he was the police chief until midway through the movie, but I know they mentioned it many times before that, and I just didn't catch it. It's that middle act. I will say this though, having seen RRR and Jawan, bingo. I do appreciate the kind of, I think Dev Patel takes a very American sensibility with Monkey Man in terms of how the action and how the shots are structured. I would definitely say that this movie looks more like a comic book than most comic book movies we see.
Right. So there you go. It's a mild recommend for me, but here I'll end with saying this. I am really interested to see what Dev Patel does next.
Yeah. Let me speak to that for a second.
Yeah.
This is his first film he directed. And also he was kind of pushed into directing it because when he was shopping for directors, they all told him that he should do it because he has the vision for it. And so it feels like this is his first time. I think he studied as best he could and made the movie. And I like you am interested in seeing what his next movie is going to be.
Yeah. So, and I would actually recommend a different film that Dev Patel, he didn't direct it, but he starred in it. It's from 2016. It's called Lion. Really good film based on a true story. It's fantastic. He's so good in it. And then also, of course, The Green Knight. The thing is, Dev Patel, I'm interested in him as an actor. I think he's just really good. He has a presence. He is a star. I want to see what he does next. And so don't hold this against him. It's not a dud. It's just not as good as the trailer. The biggest thing against this movie was the trailer built up such an expectation that it doesn't follow through.
And all the cool stuff in the trailers in the third act.
Yeah, everything in the trailers in the third act. But mild recommend, maybe check it out on streaming when it comes out.